Fire is a basic element for human survival. Whether you need it for heat, boiling your water, cooking your food, or just for morale and light. Fire has been used from the beginning. And in a survival situation, it's incredibly important to have some way to make fire. And one of the ways people have been doing this for generations is using fatwood. It's natural in the outdoors, it's pine resin, and it's used even in dead wood. You can find it and harvest it and use it. It's highly flammable because the resin and the tar soak into the wood, and it'll actually ignite at 200 degrees. So it's a real favorite, especially with bushcrafters and survivalists. Now, we're going to look today at a very unique piece of fatwood, and this is from FatwoodFiresteels.com. These guys are out of Georgia, near the Atlanta area, and so pretty local to me. This is a beautiful piece of fatwood. Now, one thing about fatwood is that it gets really sticky. The resin's in it, and you've ever put your hand in pine resin, you know just how it can get everywhere. They worked 2 years to be able to come up with a formula to coat these to keep these very beautiful, soft, and smooth, and still be effective as a good piece of fatwood. They come with the Firesteels on them, and the striker, and actually a practice piece of firewood on a paracord lanyard. And so we're going to look at some of the details, but I think this is a beautiful piece to carry. It's something that is really high quality, but something also that could save your life. Now, Jeff Harrelson, who is the owner of Fatwood Firesteels, he got in touch with me and he said, hey, I want you to take a look at these Firesteels. And I'll tell you guys, these are beautiful. I mean, when I saw them on the website, I was like, that is just gorgeous. It's just a piece of art, really. This is your standard piece right here. It has still what they call the live side right here, and then you have your flat on the other side to be able to use for your Firesteel. You also have from Firesteel.com, one of their super strikers. These are excellent strikers, and they also give you a practice piece of fatwood to be able to use before you kind of use this in a survival situation. And then too, it's going to be difficult to mess this up. I can promise you that. Now, this is just a standard piece of fatwood that they also offer, and then they have some of their shavings. And this is their Fire Dust 10. It just has regular fatwood shavings in here that you would typically use and shave off here. Fatwood does ignite at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so it burns really good. It's easy to light. And on the ferro rod, these will generate about 3,000 degrees. So you have a 3,000 degree flame with a 200 degree ignition, so it's really easy to light these. One thing also that he sent that I thought was pretty cool is a cross. He is a Christian, they're a Christian company, and this has a ferro rod on here. And so I love this, that's just cool. I would feel weird taking off the firewood from a cross, but there it is. Now, this piece right here in particular is what they call the dragon's tail. These are very difficult to find in the wild, and I think he sent this just as a gift because this is really beautiful and they are hard to find. But as you can tell, it just looks like a dragon tail. But these things are absolutely beautiful. It does come with about 33 inches of paracord with a fisherman's knot. You can adjust this to your neck, and this is a great way to carry it, especially when you're on the trail, camping, hiking, or in a bug out situation. The Ferrocerium rods will probably take about 3,000 strikes. So you've got plenty of striking capability. You got plenty of fat wood. You can still use the ferro rod if you need it in a survival situation with other tinder. Okay, we're going to use the practice piece of fat wood for this demonstration. Obviously, I want to keep this as long as possible. You take your edge or your striker and you just start getting an edge. They say about 1/4 inch pieces work nice. You can feel the resin in here already. If you look right here, there's just resin. That's going to really light well. This resin preserves the wood over years of time. It's really a self-healing type process for the pine. Anytime you have growth, it'll build up areas. If you cut the tree down, that pine resin will start to bubble up. And that's really until the tree just completely dies. So we're going to gather up our shavings. Now here we're going to take our striker. Now typically I like to pull my striker out, but we're just going to leave it right here and just see if we can get some good spark. Now you can see that first couple of sparks was kind of light, but man, that thing burns. Now to get a better look, let's just go ahead and get some more shavings. You can actually light the ferro rod with the spine of your knife. I would highly suggest though that you definitely use this practice wood and know what you're doing when you get ready to use it. Sometimes there are some pine knots right in here. You can use your thumb behind it to get even a better grip on the practice wood. You can smell that resin. That's incredible. Look how that burns, just that little bit. You can add some tinder to that really quickly and be able to get a good fire started. Now let's open up our fire dust tin. Of course it does have this small little container with this little bag. It's a zip lock, so it's going to be good and sealed. You can either keep it in the Ziploc, which I think I'm going to do. Started to put it in the tin itself, but no reason not to. Now this stuff is waterproof. Because that resin really seals it. Man, that fire is beautiful. This stuff burns and burns. Wow. Wow. I mean, that was really one strike brought that together. One thing I love about this wood too is it feels really comfortable in your hand. I mean, it just has a nice, soft, polished feel to it. Man, I really like this. One thing you don't want to do is leave these out in the sun. It can bring the resin or tar to the top of the surface. And I think the more you use it, I think it's just going to be softer and softer. At least until your practice piece runs out. But even with the practice piece, you can start to feel a little bit of the resin right here. And if you stoke this a little bit, it'll keep burning for a while. Now you can take the spine of the knife, or you can take your knife and just go ahead and trim that up. Definitely easier than the striker to process this fat wood. I wouldn't get too big a piece though. Makes it a little bit harder to light with the larger pieces, but it'll probably burn longer. Now let's see how these bigger pieces light. I think you definitely want to stick with the very fine shavings. This will light for sure. There we go. I think pulling the fire steel away from it with these bigger shavings actually works better. And that's really the traditional way you're supposed to light your fire steel. Nothing better than a good fire on a cool day. Now one thing that was really impressive was the price. For your standard Fatwood fire steel, and that includes the striker, the practice piece of wood, and also the paracord with this beautiful finish, they're $24.99. I thought that was a fantastic price. Now they do have a $19.99 piece that's a little bit smaller, and they also offer Fatwood sticks. These run $2.99. Then for the fire dust tin, these are $5.99. Guys, one thing that I failed to mention is the price includes shipping, so it's free shipping on all the items. They do now ship internationally, and of course there will be some shipping charges that apply to that. And I want to thank Jeff and the crew at fatwoodfiresteels.com for sending this little package. This is a lot of fun. I think it's a great item to have, and it's just one of those that has a huge cool factor to it. These things are beautiful. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And one of the ways that a lot of people have been doing it over the generations is using firewood, even for morale. You know, now we definitely want to use the standard. Okay, let's do something here. You can smell that. You can smell that resin. So check out fatwoodfiresteels.com. A great price on these. So